The testimonies of the 3 and 8 witnesses to the golden plates are among the first words that many read in the Book of Mormon. But did you know that there are other unofficial witnesses, including some prominent women of the early Restoration? Among these women, Mary Whitmer is unique. She is the only person, other than the official witnesses, to have been shown the golden plates by an angel. In April 1829, persecution intensified as Joseph Smith and Oliver Cowdery began the translation of the Book of Mormon. For safety, and so the work could continue uninterrupted, they relocated to the home of the Whitmer family in Fayette, New York. The Whitmers were a large family, and the burden fell especially hard on Mary, who bore the brunt of household tasks. Although she never complained, she may have felt that the labor was too much. However, one day in the course of her chores, she went to the barn and met a stranger carrying a knapsack. Although she was frightened of the man at first, he spoke to her in a kind, friendly tone and began to explain to her the nature of the work which was going on in her house, and she was filled with inexpressible joy and satisfaction. The man, an angelic messenger, opened the knapsack and showed Mary a bundle of plates, and turned the leaves of the Book of Plates over, leaf after leaf, and also showed her the engravings upon them. He told her to be patient and faithful in bearing her burden a little longer, and made the promise that if Mary did, she should be blessed, and her reward would be sure if she proved faithful to the end. The appearance of the messenger with the plates, coming before the experiences of the 3 and the 8 witnesses, provided Mary with the spiritual and physical solace she needed to help move the work forward. Of her testimony, Mary's grandson said, "I knew my grandmother to be a good, noble, and truthful woman, and I have not the least doubt of her statement in regard to seeing the plates being strictly true. She was a strong believer in the Book of Mormon until the day of her death." From this experience, we learn a valuable lesson. Just as the Lord did for Mary Whitmer and countless men and women throughout the Scriptures, the Lord will speak to each of us at our times of need. We can each receive our own witness of the truthfulness of the work. In more ways than some may realize, Emma Smith stood side by side with her husband in bringing forth the Book of Mormon. For example, she accompanied Joseph to the hill where the plates were buried, watched him go up the hill empty-handed, and then saw him return hours later with the covered plates. Emma was also Joseph's first scribe. In her own words, she explained that Joseph would dictate to me hour after hour, and when returning after meals or after interruptions, he would at once begin where he had left off, without either seeing the manuscript or having any portion of it read to him. This was a usual thing for him to do. Emma remembered that she was often sitting at the table close by him, he sitting with his face buried in his hat with the stone in it, and dictating hour after hour with nothing between us. She insisted that Joseph had neither manuscript nor book to read from, and that if he had had anything of the kind, he could not have concealed it from me. Emma's descriptions of the translation offer a unique window into how this miracle unfolded day by day. Emma's value as a witness is enhanced because of her physical interaction with the tangible plates. She reported to her son that while cleaning the home, she would lift and move the covered plates when she swept and dusted the room and furniture. She further explained, "I once felt of the plates, as they thus lay on the table, tracing their outline and shape. They seemed to be pliable like thick paper, and would rustle with a metallic sound when the edges were moved by the thumb, as one does sometimes thumb the edges of a book." Emma's participation in these miraculous undertakings did not come without great sacrifice. She chose to marry Joseph even though her father strongly opposed their courtship. And then, in the first year of their marriage, she helped Joseph obtain the Book of Mormon. From this time forward, numerous attempts were made to steal the plates, and persecution and danger continually swirled around their lives. When Emma wasn't acting as a scribe, she was often doing the domestic chores needed for the survival and comfort of those actively involved in the translation. Through all of this, she remained constant and true to her husband and the sacred relic that he was charged to protect and translate. In awe at her miraculous experiences, Emma remarked, And though I was an active participant in the scenes that transpired and was present during the translation of the plates and had cognizance of things as they transpired, it is marvelous to me, a marvel and a wonder, as much so as to anyone else. Emma's service as a scribe was essential. Her witness as an intimate observer and participant of the coming forth of the Book of Mormon is convincing, and her faithfulness to the prophet Joseph Smith and to the truthfulness of the Book of Mormon is inspiring. These details help explain why the Lord chose Emma Smith as an elect lady to serve alongside her husband.